Okay, in this video we're going to cover printhead replacement, what the symptoms look like when a printhead's failing. You can see here I've got a unit here that has, a printhead with a fair amount of wear on it, and you can just make out, some deposits that are building up on the printhead in this area here. A lot of times that's can be adhesive that builds up. It can be actual melting of the ribbon if the ribbon is at a really high temperature, and you can get actually a melting action of some of the clear plastic material off of the ribbon depositing itself in this area as well. We'll get into procedures on changing some of these things later, but this is a single screw replacement procedure, so you just loosen and be careful not to over tighten that screw, because the screw has sort of a thin spot along the shaft that can actually be snapped if you torque down too tightly. And then there's two connectors underneath that become visible once you loosen that one screw that you can then remove to take the printhead out of there. Getting the printhead back in, you have to make sure that it's back in there level, because once you install it, that front edge of the printhead relative to this strip plate should be level, and you shouldn't have like a tilt on that otherwise you don't have the printhead seated in there correctly. The other thing that we've got down here is a previously removed printhead, and you can see this is sort of the telltale sign of like printhead wear when you get burned out elements on a printhead. See if I can zoom in on that for you. Okay, you can kind of see where those white spots are. Those are burned out elements on the printhead, and that's what a printhead that needs replacement will start to look like in certain areas. You'll get actually voids in the print in those spots. You can see here with this customer, it's right about at the edge of where their label material ends that you get kind of a sawing action caused by the transition between label and no label, and then the differential pressure along that edge, because there's even pressure across the printhead, and so you kind of get this like high pressure point at the edge of the label material right there, and a lot of times that's where you'll get printhead failure. Now in this case that would actually not affect the printing. It's when you start to get failed elements in the area where they intend to print that you'll start to get lines in the printed area where you want to actually be printing your image. So that kind of gives you sort of some of the symptoms and some of the things to look for in a printer that's going to need printhead replacement. Stay tuned for future videos. We'll kind of cover just the actual replacement of the printhead procedure. Thanks. Bye.